Assalamu alaikum and a very warm welcome to 101 Incredible Women CEO of Pakistan. Today we have the privilege to introduce Ms. Mariam Raza Zaidi. She is the behavior specialist and working with UNICEF in these days. Let's delve into conversation with her and find out how she is working and how many challenges she has faced. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Welcome to 101.
Thank you for having me.
So it's a big thing to work with UNICEF.
Thank you.
So how did you start your career?
It was quite surprisingly how I got into this. I finished my master's and I was in Islamabad. I had done my international relations and diplomacy. Refugee law was my major and I started working for the American Refugee Committee. And suddenly in 2007, the floods happened. And the floods were a massive, destructive, thing that was around. And that's when one of my teachers and one of my colleagues referred me to UNICEF. And that was also, as it just fell into my lap because I was at UNICEF as a guest because I was a tobacco warrior. So, because of my university and because of, the social work I used to do, that's where they had seen me. And then in 2009, my mentor, Mazhar Nisar Sheikh, he spotted me and he said, you know what, Mariam, you were made for the development sector.
Achha.
And I saw you working for the floods.
That was the incredible compliment for you.
Yeah, and he said, well, I've seen you working in floods and, you work with the community, you have a way. Just come to UNICEF and come and work with the government. And that's where I entered working with the government at the Ministry of Health for UNICEF. And that's when my journey with UNICEF started in 2009. And now it's 2024, so a long journey. I've had my little breaks in between after my children, but primarily I've been with UNICEF through and through. But yeah, it was fate, I think, that I had to get into here.
So on which projects you are working with UNICEF in these days?
For UNICEF, I had joined in, and I'm still with, for the polio immunization program and immunization generally, routine immunization program. I've also worked in child health, in MNCH, which is mother and child, and education throughout this career. But primarily my focus has been on child immunization and polio, which in itself was a very tedious program and still is a very tedious program.
Yeah, especially polio one. Because people still don't want to take that vaccination.
Unfortunately, the polio vaccine has always been, a difficult task for not just UNICEF but also the government of Pakistan, the expanded program on immunization. Due to various reasons. I think there was a lot of propaganda attached with the vaccine. There were also religious aspects that were, attached in this propaganda.
But I think those religious aspects are just self-created.
Yeah, they're rumors. And, we help debunk those rumors and we help overlook and we try to change, and that's primarily what my focus of work is.
To spread the awareness.
Yeah, because I'm a social behavioral change specialist and that's what I do. We try creating not just awareness but also behavioral change and change in behavior and acceptance of anything, whether it's a vaccine, whether it is a change related to somebody's health, somebody's education. It takes time. And that time and that patience is required because, human behavior does not change overnight unless it's
a long process.
A threat. Unless it is a threat. Even in COVID, we all saw that it took a little while for people to get settled and be comfortable with the vaccine. It took some time for people to be comfortable with what is happening. In the beginning, we saw in the COVID also, everybody was really scared. And everybody was very perturbed. What is happening? And they were running
Even
around.
Still, they are saying those who are having heart attacks, that is because of the COVID vaccine.
Well, of course, one needs to be very honest about the fact and very also aware about the fact that every vaccine does come with a side effect. Not polio vaccine, because again, polio is an oral vaccine. Number two, it does not have anything that does not contain any ingredient that will give you a side effect. So which is why we can give it to children so frequently. So that's
And
why
it's
we
working
encourage.
as well.
And it's working throughout the world. Only Pakistan and Afghanistan are left. There are only 2 countries out of 194 countries that is left with polio. Unfortunately, because of a lot of security issues in our country, a lot of hard to reach areas. Also, there are pockets of immigrants that live in Pakistan where we are facing these kind of troubles. And the virus is still circulating. A lot of our issues stem from the belief system that the people have, refusals that the people still do. Also the animosity that our people have towards the polio program and the polio workers. People come to your door and you scold them and you send them away. You misbehave with them and they're coming for your child. Whether it's 45 degrees, whether it is 0 degrees. They are there, they're performing, and they're coming with a free vaccine. The problem in our society also is...
And they are convincing them to.
Absolutely. And sadly, even educated people need
refuse.
convincing because for them, going to their pediatrician and paying 4,000 rupees and then getting the same vaccine is more reliable.
Yes, I have seen these type of people as well.
Yeah, so I think that is these are some evident and imminent challenges that the polio program is facing, which inshallah very soon we will overcome, because if we don't, we will face a lot of issues that we do now. You can't go for Hajj without taking your polio vaccines, which is, it's funny because the polio vaccine per se is for children under 5, right? But the world looks at you as such a threat that, wherever now you travel, there are a lot of countries that require you to have that polio vaccination cards. And similarly, slowly, Pakistanis will start having travel bans if this is not eradicated, regardless how rich you are, regardless what nationality you have, because there are a lot of people in Pakistan who have different passports. But if you are traveling out of Pakistan, you'll be stopped.
If you don't have that.
Unless you don't eradicate this disease.
Oh, okay.
So, I think as a nation, we need to start working together towards a better cause and help each other rather than, pull each other down. Because again, like I say, this program is for your benefit. You cannot, just because something is free, just because the government, you don't have faith in the government health system, does not mean you can't have faith in the vaccine that is supported by UNICEF, that is supported by WHO, by the Bill Melinda Gates Foundation. A vaccine that is not being made in a foreign country, in fact is made in a Muslim country, which is Malaysia. That is the only place, Indonesia, where is the only place where the vial is made. Nowhere else.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and UNICEF is the only organization that purchases it for Pakistan from there. So the funny part is to say, it's an American propaganda and, this is a Yehudi sazish. I think we need to get out of all of this.
Exactly. अभी तो कुछ भी ऐसा होता है तो वो यहूदी साजिश के नाम से ही आता है.
Agreed.
That's right. So ये आपका, it's quite challenging.
It is.
Project you are running.
A lot of because we have to work directly with the community. We have to work directly with governments. We have to work, and not just because I've not only worked in Pakistan. I've worked across 4 continents now.
Mashallah.
So, and I think around 11 countries. And so that kind of gives you a big spectrum of how the work goes around. So our interaction as UNICEF and as a behavioral change person is not just with the community. So it's also with community leaders, it's also with advocates, it's also with legislators, it's also with the governments, it's also with political parties and religious parties. And for example, in places like Africa and Middle East, you have to be very close to the tribal leaders. You have to be very close with people who are from the community, and whether you also have to look at people who are Bedouins and nomads who don't have a house. One day they're there, the other day they're there, and you have to locate them. Okay, they were just here. Ab kidhar chale gaye? So these are the kind of struggles and challenges that the program faces, and we have to interact with all kinds of people and also all levels of people. But it's challenging, but it's also very satisfying, because at the end of the day, I come home and I realize, I saved one life.
Exactly.
And even if
You
I've
are working
saved
for the
one life,
good cause.
yeah, that gives me a lot of satisfaction. That, you know, if I've saved one family, if I've saved one child from being paralyzed for life, if I've saved one child from not being educated for the rest of his life, if I've changed one girl, during my work in Africa, we also worked because, you know, we work with so many different communities. We work with young child brides in Africa because, you know, they also had babies and they themselves were like 13 years old, 12 years old, and it's a cultural thing for them to get married this young. It's a cultural thing. So
Okay.
it's not.
So no, Pakistan is not the only one in the world.
Oh no.
There are other countries
Across.
too.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
now I'm
Across the
satisfied.
globe. Yeah, we're not that bad.
Right. So it is said in Pakistan, being a woman, it's difficult to work at the higher place, and you know there are so many rumors, or maybe they are true. So what do you say? Have you faced any challenge?
I think the fact that we are women is as a woman, it's a challenge in itself. You know, just because you're a woman, it automatically becomes a challenge anyway. And I would like to, you know, reiterate. You know, we were also talking before the interview started. It does not matter if you're a woman in Pakistan, or you're a woman in America, or you're a woman in Germany, or you're a woman in Kenya, Afghanistan, India, wherever. It does not matter. The challenges are very similar.
All over the world.
All over the world. Women are, and especially, like you said, women at a certain level, women of a certain stature, you know, you'll always be looked very critically. Oh, how did she achieve so much? What did she do to get at this level? And you know, you keep on thinking, hard work. I worked for this. I didn't do anything.
I earned it.
I earned it, you know, this respect and whatever I'm getting. And but you see this across the globe. Women are, and even I was. I remember working with men. Men were taken more seriously. Their opinions were taken more seriously than ours. If we had to present something, and if a man had to present something, that was listened to more. Especially women who are married, especially women who are mothers. You know, we had to face more challenges at workplace. Oh, you know, but you have responsibilities. Let me give this task to somebody else. And you know, you would think that, why is it such a problem? Why do you think just because I'm a mother, just because I'm a wife, just because I'm, you know, somebody's daughter-in-law, or I cannot do I can't do this work? And yes, the challenges we see even in countries outside, you know, women are not being paid equally. So, you know, I have seen this even in international organizations like ours, and even in international organizations across the world. Man and woman, they'll be at the same level, doing the same job with the exact same title.
But
Their
women
salaries
are
different.
getting less.
Oh yes, salaries are different. Their tasks are very different. People automatically assume things. Oh, she cannot go in the field. Oh, maybe, you know, she should not go in that meeting. Oh, you know, maybe she should not attend that dinner. And that obviously affects your working also, you know. Your chances of moving ahead becomes less and less. And such problems, unfortunately, we see across. Another big problem that I've seen across the world, which is really funny because I used to think that that problem is only in Pakistan. Women don't support women.
True.
I think that is such a sad thing that, you know, I've seen women bosses not being very kind towards their employees. I've seen them not understanding the predicaments. Because yes, you know, as a woman, you do come with very different challenges other than men. Because, you know, even if you're married or even if you're unmarried, it doesn't matter. The responsibility of the house lies on you. In some cases, the responsibility of your parents, the responsibility of your children, your spouse, and generally the family. And not just in Pakistan. Again, this is across the globe.
Across the globe.
And that is where women really need to support.
But I think the time has changed, and there are some women who are supporting each other. But still, we need to work on it.
We really do. I think, yes, far and beyond, I've seen a lot of really incredible and successful women entrepreneurs. I've seen successful women, in multinational and corporate sectors and in the development sectors who are really good bosses, who are very understanding, very empathetic, very sympathetic towards their women employees. And that's the way it should be, generally. Because, the way I will understand your problem, if you're telling me that, last night my son was not feeling well, I should understand that I'm sure she was up the whole night rather than the husband. So it's okay if she came at 10 a.m. today. Let me not scold her for being a good mother. Let me not scold her for being a good wife. Let me not scold her for being caring, generally. Similarly, when she goes back home, be a little more kind and supportive. She's also worked the whole day. She's also tired. She also needs that food and care and chai time and, maybe half an hour of nap. So that she becomes refreshed again. When she's not refreshed, she will scold her children. She will not talk nicely to anybody at home. And when she comes to work, she'll not talk nicely to her employees. Why? Because she's so tired. And people don't understand that. That, women are emotional beings. Allah has made us like that. So, you can't blame us. Oh, she's very emotional. And I always go like, yeah, thank God. Thank God. We have feelings and emotions. And
True.
But that's the way God has made us. Why? Because He wanted us to do other things also. If we didn't have feelings, we wouldn't have been good mothers. If we didn't have feelings, we wouldn't have been good wives. So I think we have a lot of duties and a lot of hats. But I'm glad, like you said, time is changing, but it needs to change more. More and more, so that we
need to spread this awareness as well.
Yeah.
So what message you will give to the women?
I really want women to stop undermining themselves. Be more confident. Also be more aggressive. Don't be shy. If you really think you can do something, don't think too much about it.
Just go for it.
Go for it. And find the right kind of support. Make good allies. Make good friends and who can support you. Stop being around people who are negative. Stop being around people who will pull you down. And stop being scared to be excellent at something. You need to strive towards excellence. You need to strive towards being the best. The problem that I see with a lot of women is they're okay with being mediocre.
Because they have been told कि ऐसे ही होता है बेटा.
जी.
तुमने ऐसी ही लाइफ स्पेंड करनी. ये ठीक है. Husbands ऐसे ही होते हैं.
जी.
Fathers ऐसे ही होते हैं. So live with it.
I think you've just put it very beautifully. घर से शुरू होता है इनका सफर. We need more encouraging parents also. And we do have them now, because our generation is the parent, right? The millennials, the kids who were born in 80s and
90s,
early 90s. Late 90s ko main millennial nahi manti. So, I think this generation is really understanding that, yes,
even the boys are also a little bit changed now.
They are. The fathers are more involved. And they believe that, their daughters also need to get the same kind of opportunities that their sons are getting. And I see that in my house also. My husband, he really pushes my daughter. And he really encourages her. And, and sometimes I feel he's not encouraging my son that much. But because he says, उसको तो फिर भी कोई कर देगा. उसको आगे जाके इतने मौके मिल जाएंगे मेरे बेटे को. But if I don't support my daughter, she will never feel that confidence when she grows up. Because देखिए
घर से उसको confidence चाहिए ना. घर से मिलेगा तो वो बाहर भी face कर सके.
Exactly. She will go to a workplace, she will go to a college, her university, her school with that confidence and that backing. And so there's somebody there to support
and it's very important. It's very important.
Yeah, and I think that is something that now women need to do. Also, another message I want to give women is please support each other. Don't bring each other down. Don't be jealous of each other. don't, because everybody has their own space. Everybody has their own place. You don't need to step on the other person to go up.
True.
So, choose your own ladders and help each other, because अगर नहीं करेंगे तो फिर कोई भी नहीं करेगा.
बिल्कुल ऐसे ही है, और मेल तो वैसे ही नहीं करेंगे. थैंक यू सो मच मरियम, आपसे बात करके बहुत अच्छा लगा.
थैंक यू.
और हमें आप पे बहुत प्राउड है, आपने इतने कॉन्टिनेंट्स में काम किया और आप बच्चों के लिए बहुत कर रही हैं, एंड स्पेशली फॉर द पोलियो थिंग, दैट इज द मोस्ट डिफिकल्ट पार्ट.
जी.
थैंक यू सो मच फॉर कमिंग.
थैंक यू Maria for having me.